3 spine-chilling tales of sinister secrets discovered while camping alone in the haunted woods. Lily always thought camping meant esmores and ghost stories, not terror lurking behind every twisted tree trunk. As she stepped into Blackwood Forest, shadows flickered like bad dreams waiting to be relived. The air felt thick and sticky, as if the trees themselves were holding their breath, waiting for her to break the silence. This was supposed to be a break from her high-pressure job, a chance to disconnect from the constant ping of emails and corporate demands. Instead, she found herself tangled in an unsettling nostalgia of childhood laughter, tangled with the chilling stories her parents told, the ones about campers that disappeared mysteriously. Were those stories real? Did they even happen? The sun dipped below the horizon, wrapping the forest in a deep cloak of darkness. As the last light faded, the sounds of wildlife turned sinister, each rustle and snap echoing like warning bells. Lily shifted uneasily in her camp chair, unsure if this was simply her city sensibilities acting up or if something truly awful lingered in the woods. Then she noticed it. A faint whispering, a cacophony of unintelligible murmurs through the rustling leaves. Her heart raced. It's just the wind, she told herself, but part of her wished she had brought a friend or at least a dog. Scrambling to calm her nerves, her fingers grazed the damp, worn leather of an old journal lying on the tennis floor. She flipped it open, the pages curling and cracking like whispered confessions. The words inside were nothing like the fun tales of her childhood. They were dark and chilling, chronicling campers who vanished into the night, leaving behind only echoes of their existence. Every word felt like a noose tightening around her, forcing a gasp past her lips. Was it really a coincidence she came here? Glancing over her shoulder, she shook her head, trying to shake off the dread creeping in. Before we continue, I need to tell you something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to their system, and many people are missing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and select all notifications so you don't miss future videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The flashlight flickered, casting erratic shadows as her pulse quickened. The night was no longer still. It felt alive. The whispers grew louder, swirling around her, making the hair on her neck stand up. The forest was more than a backdrop. It felt like a predator waiting and watching. Panic gripped her as she stood up, her heart pounding like a war drum. She was no longer immersed in peace. She was surrounded by secrets begging to be uncovered. And then she heard it, the unmistakable crunch of footsteps behind her. Fear gripped her throat. Each snap of a twig was like thunder in her ears. Turning quickly, she found herself face to face with a man she had known long ago. Her childhood neighbor, Mr. Harrington. His smile was wide, almost too wide, as he took a step closer. "So nice to see you again, Lily," he said. His voice smooth like syrup, yet heavy with something menacing beneath. "The forest has so many stories to tell, doesn't it?" Blackwood Forest loomed around her, dark and foreboding, and as dawn approached with its faint light, she felt the weight of the truth starting to press down on her. The shadows weren't just figments of her imagination. They carried her family's secrets, intertwined with her own fate. As dread threaded through her thoughts, she realized the forest might not let her leave, not without paying a price. The moment Lily recognized Mr. Harrington's face, a flood of memories rushed back, twisted tales of how he wandered the woods late at night, collecting whispers like children collect butterflies. His eyes, however, were not those of the kind neighbor she remembered. They were dark holes, devouring all surrounding light, holding a desperation that sent chills down her spine. "What do you mean, Mr. Harrington?" she stammered, instinctively stepping back. The cold earth beneath her boots felt like a grave. "Is it true that people disappear here?" He chuckled softly, but it resonated with an eerie echo that rippled through the trees. "Disappearance is a relative term, dear Lily. Some leave willingly, others not so much. The forest has a draw, a compelling allure, can be very persuasive." Her heart raced. each beat pounding a warning into her brain. She wanted to run, but the shadows now felt like a suffocating embrace. Something in his tone brought the stories from her childhood to life, campers ensnared by the dark, never seen again, named only by the whispers that surrounded their fate. "What do you want from me?" she croaked, her voice cracking under the weight of fear. He tilted his head, his grin widening impossibly. "I'm here to show you, Lily. Show you the truth, the secrets buried deep in these woods." "Secrets?" Panic clawed at her throat. "I don't want to know any secrets." She stumbled backward, feeling the jagged rocks underfoot. But the whispers intensified, growing into an enrapturing harmony that beckoned to her, teasing curiosity through her fear. Lily fought against the pull, but something deep inside her, a remnant of childhood adventure, yearned to unravel the mystery. "Who else is here?" she asked. "Are there other campers?" "Campers? Oh, precious girl, they are much more than that now. They are part of the forest, each spirit an echo carrying a story." His voice dropped to a low, cryptic murmur. Some were angry, rejected, others had something to give. And without warning, Mr. Harrington extended his hand, motioning for her to join him. The soft glow of her flashlight flickered, illuminating the dark abyss of the forest around them. Shadows writhed as if they were alive, whispering secrets only they could understand. She hesitated, staring into the depths of those soulless eyes, her instincts screaming to turn away. But curiosity, that dangerous little spark, urged her to take a step forward. "What do they want?" she asked, voice trembling. "The forest accepts those who uncover its truths, Lily. But be warned, the price is steep, and not all who enter will return." A cold gust swept through the clearing, carrying the scent of damp earth and decay. Lily shivered, her mind racing. Just beyond the treeline, something shifted, a blur darted between the trees, straining her senses. The whispers grew chaotic, rising in a crescendo, speaking all at once. "Lily," she spun, the voice unmistakable. "Mom?" Silence cloaked the forest, every rustle ceased, holding its breath as terror constricted around her. The shadows deepened, threatening to swallow her whole. She felt the air thicken, the weight of eyes watching from beyond. Mr. Harrington grinned wider, and Lily knew she was standing on the edge of a precipice. Would she dive into the darkness and discover the secrets, or would she be just another whisper lurking in the haunted woods? "Come closer, dear." His voice trailed off, blending harmoniously with the whispers echoing through the trees. With a rush of adrenaline, she turned to flee, but the darkness rushed forward, closing in. The ground trembled beneath her feet. Would she be able to escape the tales anchoring her down before it was too late? In the depths of Blackwood Forest, the price was being counted, and time was running out. What awaited her if she succumbed to the call? Just then, the brush parted with a violent snap, revealing a path that pulsed like a heartbeat, leading deeper into the cacophony. The forest was inviting her in, and like the flickering light of her dying flashlight, her resolve began to wane. Lily's pulse throbbed in her ears as she stared at the path, a chasm of darkness pulsating between the trees. The whispers grew louder, morphing into an intoxicating melody that lulled her forward. This wasn't just a road, it felt like an invitation, one that promised secrets and truths she had never known. Yet dread gnawed at her insides, urging her to run. "Don't turn your back on what's meant to reveal itself," Mr. Harrington said, his voice slicing through her thoughts like a cold wind. He stood there, an immovable shadow, beckoning her with a crooked finger. "Is my mom here?" she choked out, pushing the words past the lump in her throat. His eyes brightened, casting a malevolent glow. "Ah, yes, those you seek always lie deeper within. The forest cradles them. They become part of its song. Do their stories end, or do they go on forever?" The thought haunted her, finding words she wished she hadn't spoken. "Both, sweet Lily," he replied, his grin widening. "It's a loop, each tale a wave rolling and rolling until what?" she urged. "Until it crashes on the shore of memory, leaving only echoes," he purred, the silence around them becoming thick, oppressive. Lily's heart raced, conflicting emotions threading through her, a pull of wanting to know more, but also a deep-rooted fear of what she'd find. The chaos of the whispers became unbearable, shrieking out in unison, "Join us!" With a sudden surge of courage, she took a step back. "No, I don't want any part of this." Panic wrapped around her, constricting like a snake squeezing its prey. But before she could flee, the air crackled around her, charged with a heavy energy. The ground shifted, forcing her to steady herself against a crooked tree. The moon illuminated a glimpse of the path beyond, revealing twisted roots that wriggled like fingers grasping for her. Each one appeared soaked in shadow, lives of their own, seeming to seek her warmth. "Fight it if you can, dear," he said mockingly. "But the forest is hungry, and it knows when its prey arrives." Lily's breath quickened. She could feel the darkness pressing in, her vision blurring. The forest undulated like a sea of nightmares. Desperation anchored her, but she knew she had to choose. Run back into the suffocating light or step onto the path of shadows. As if sensing her indecision, the trees whispered louder, thrumming with voices. "Stay, come join," they echoed from all directions, spinning around her until she felt dizzy. "Stop," she shouted, clutching her head as if to block out the chaos. But they only intensified, each whisper digging into her soul. In her rearview, Mr. Harrington stood still, almost contemplating whether to intervene as the forest came alive around Lily. Suddenly, the whispering grew obsessive, clawing at her mind, and she collapsed to her knees. "Lily! Lily!" A familiar voice drifted through the maelstrom of sound. It was soft, melodic, her mother's voice. Hope flared within her before instinct screamed to silence it. "Don't listen to her," she shouted to herself, pressing her palms against her ears. The ghosts of the woods didn't care for her pleas. It promised her secrets, the impossible choice between family and survival, a dance along the knife's edge. The shadows loomed closer now, tangible and thrumming. She felt the weight of their gaze, the anticipation, as if they were waiting for her descent into madness. "Choose," Mr. Harrington whispered. "Is it the light that blinds you or the dark that sets you free?" Just when she felt she might surrender, the trees split, revealing a pathway that sparkled faintly in the moonlight. It called to her with a seductive charm, the whispers suddenly muffled, replaced by a silence that begged to be broken. One step into the unknown could take her deeper into the forest's embrace or back to the darkness awaiting behind. A choice lay before her, fraught with danger. What lay down that shining path? Would it lead her closer to the truth or seal her fate among the whispers? Lily's heart raced, caught between dread and the call of the path ahead. Each flicker of moonlight danced over the shimmering dirt, beckoning her to step forward. The shadows shimmered with life, swirling as if they had formed a portal. What if she whispered to the trees? What if the truth is worth the risk? Mr. Harrington's breath fanned over her shoulder, warm and sweet, carrying a hint of decay. "Truth is a cruel mistress, my dear. You might find it, but it comes at a terrible price." With one last glance at the darkness behind, she sucked in a deep breath and stepped towards the glowing path. As soon as her foot touched the ground, the moment felt electric. The whispers snapped shut, substituting eerie silence that pressed against her ears as if the entire forest had inhaled. The path began to glide beneath her feet, her body moving with ease. Curiosity intertwined with her fear, wrapping around her like thorny vines. Shadows stretched long and thin, reaching out from the trees, but the light pushed them back. She walked deeper, past twisted trunks that nearly leaned over her, observing her with eyes that were not there. Then she heard it, a faint sobbing, a breaking heart reverberating through the night air. It resonated in her core, drawing her closer. "Mom?" she called. Panic darted through her veins as she raced toward the sound. Suddenly, the path narrowed, each step becoming more labored. The sobs grew louder, morphing into a haunting melody, laced with sorrow and desperation. Lily's head spun with questions. Was it truly her mother? Could she be within reach? Just up ahead, she saw a figure standing among the trees, half hidden in shadows. The woman's long, Flowing hair cascaded like a waterfall of stars against the dark. "Lily," she called, her voice sweet yet tinged with anguish. "Mom?" Lily's voice trembled, caught between hope and panic. She stepped closer, her feet now heavy like lead. "Where are you?" The figure turned slowly, revealing a face both familiar and foreign. Lines of sadness etched deeply into her skin, but her eyes glimmered like shards of glass, frightening yet alluring. "I've been waiting for you." Lily's gut twisted. "You're not her. You can't be. Don't you want to know?" The apparition cooed. "About the stories I carry? The secrets I keep?" The trees crackled, their branches creaking under the weight of their whispers. "Join us, join your mother." Lily swayed, her breath catching in her throat. She could feel the pull of the woman, a magnetic force drawing her in, its sweetness hiding the bitter truth beneath. They had said her mother was lost, but what if she was more than a memory? "I'm here," Lily shouted, shaking her head to clear the vapors of doubt. "Show me the truth." The spectral figure smiled, but there was something sinister behind it. Light shifted, revealing the woman's face, a mask of hope twisted with sorrow and malevolence. "The truth is waiting, silly girl," she laughed softly. "But it comes at a cost. Are you willing to pay?" Lily froze, a chill racing down her spine. The forest shuddered as if waiting, anticipating her choice. "Oh God," she breathed. Before she could react, the ground beneath her trembled. Roots surged up with furious energy, grasping at her ankles, dragging her closer to the figure. "You have to decide now." Mr. Harrington's voice thundered from the shadows. Once again it was the choice, the light or the dark, truth or illusion. As the tendrils of the forest gripped her tighter, she realized she was not just saving herself. She was on the brink of uncovering a reality she had never wanted to face. What terrible secrets could her mother unveil? Would the truth free her, or would it bind her to the whispers of the woods forever? The roots pulled harder, a suffocating grip tightening around her. Lily's heart slammed against her chest, panic flooding her senses. She could barely move, the weight of the earth both enticing and choking. "Stop, please," she screamed, voice echoing through the suffocating darkness. The figure stepped forward, her smile widening like a predator. "You have so many questions, my sweet Lily. Let the truth breathe." The whispered enchantments of the forest crashed against her like thunder. Memories assaulted her mind, blurry images of a childhood painted with flickering candlelight and soft lullabies. Laughter twisted into the howl of the wind, memories turning monstrous. "Mom? What are you?" "I am Choice," the woman replied, voice dripping with sweetness. "You can choose to join me, to bask in the knowledge of family, or resist and endure the emptiness." An inexplicable sadness emanated from the figure, a tether that felt familiar yet cruel. Darkness edged into her vision, pulling at her conscience. "I'm not afraid of the truth," she exclaimed, shaking her head as if it could clear the fog. Suddenly, she gripped her necklace, a small locket her mother had given her long ago. The clasp felt cold against her thumb. "Please, I need to know. Is it worth the risk?" "Ah, but darling," the specter crooned, mist curling around her like smoke. "What will you do when you discover the cost?" The roots released a fraction but coiled tighter again, seeming aware of her uncertainty. With all her strength, she clawed against the ground, each pull straining at her very soul. "I won't let you drown me in despair." "Then come," the woman purred, extending a hand that shimmered like moonlight. "Feel the folds of knowledge wrap around you. It will be so sweet." Screams echoed in the shadows, filling her mind, drowning her in terror. Ghostly faces swirled, frozen in agony, others who had come before her, lured by the promises of comfort and truth. She gasped, stumbling back as the truth of their fates flickered like dying fireflies. Then, with unexpected ferocity, she broke free, yanking herself from the sibilant whispers of the spirit. If it cost her everything, it had to be better than losing herself in the dark. "I reject you," she shouted, the words breaking free like thunder. But the forest shrieked back, roots slithering over her, yearning to consume her defiance. The darkness thickened, and the ground trembled as if in fury. She turned, fighting gravity itself as she leaped from the spectral figure's grip. The path beneath her vanished, swallowed by shadows and despair. "Lily!" A voice roared. Mr. Harrington emerged from the gloom, eyes blazing. "Come. You have to move now." But Lily hesitated. Part of her still craved the warmth of the apparition's embrace, as if surrendering meant she could still hold onto her mother. The choice loomed larger than life, threatening to consume her once more. She spun back, the memory of the woman dulling the edges of her stomach with a profound dread. "Mom, where are you?" she cried, even as the dark creature laughed softly behind her, promise lacing its tone. "You'll find me soon." Lily, the power of the unknown made her freeze, and for a moment, her thoughts tangled and twisted within the suffocating grip of hopelessness. She felt the ground quake, the breath of the forest beckoning her closer, promising far more than mere truth. As she tried to process what to do next, the shadows pooled around her, swirling in a chilling dance of despair. Did she have the strength to forge a light through this darkness? Or would she become yet another lost wisp in the suffocating embrace of the forest? In that moment of terrifying indecision, the whispers grew louder, plotting narratives just outside her grasp. "Lily," they hissed, "the truth is just the beginning." Lily's breathing quickened, and she knew one final truth. Her struggle was far from over. What awaited her, she didn't yet know. Yet the darkness felt hungry, eager to have her answer. What awaited her down the path? What awaited those who once walked the same line? The ground beneath Lily's feet cracked as she stumbled forward, the weight of the forest pressing heavily on her back. Mr. Harrington shouted again, his voice slicing through her chaotic thoughts. "Move, Lily. We don't have time." She spun toward him, her heart pounding in her chest. The grip of the roots slackened as if granting her a moment's respite in exchange for her indecision. But the air thickened, a suffocating curtain casting shadows deeper than the night. "Where are we going?" she gasped, trying to catch her breath. Just follow," he urged, determination blazing in his eyes. But the enchantment of the forest had its clutches on her. The memories danced like distorted marionettes in her mind, voices of the past taunting her. "Stay, find her, she needs you," they whispered, intertwining with the gusts of the wind. "Lily, come on." Mr. Harrington's voice broke through her haze of uncertainty, and she took a faltering step toward him. But as she moved, the shadows surged forward, filling the ground with a viscous darkness that seemed to pulse with life. The figure loomed behind her, its haunting smile radiant even in the depths of despair. "You reject truth? Why deny what is yours? I'd rather die than become one of you," Lily yelled, terrified, as she propelled herself forward, propelled by pure instinct. The roots writhed, furious at her defiance, and the ground shook violently. "You can't escape your family's legacy," the spirit howled, voice billowing like smoke. "Join us. We yearn for you." Memories bombarded her again, the distant laughter of friends turning into cries of terror. Lily's fingers brushed against her locket, the cool metal grounding her. The grim truth of her lineage clawed at her soul like a feral beast longing to escape its cage. "Focus," Mr. Harrington yelled, pulling her from the brink of panic. "We can't let it take you." But the figure remained in her periphery, a phantom tugging at her heartstrings. The memories of her mother whispered promises of comfort that felt like tendrils of smoke, intoxicating and terrible. "Mom," she breathed a whisper, unsure. "Stay with me," Mr. Harrington pleaded, grasping her wrist. Lily blinked as if awakening from a dream. She shoved the horrors aside and steadied her breath. "I have to break free." With renewed resolve, she rushed forward. The murk of the darkness was like a living thing, grasping at her legs, trying to pull her back, to consume her. Just as she thought it would win, she bore down, focusing on the light glinting from her locket. "Run!" she screamed, as the specter lunged toward them, fingers like daggers mired in shadows. The icy air cut through her lungs as they dashed down an unfamiliar path. Behind her, the echoes of the forest screamed. The laughter twisted into wails that pierced the night. A chorus of the damned. Branches reached out like desperate hands, snagging at her clothes, tearing at her skin. She fought through, and with one desperate glance over her shoulder, she saw the shadow waver, its form shifting, morphing into something grotesque. Panic surged, propelling her forward as if life itself demanded her escape. Suddenly, a blinding crack of light burst through the trees ahead, illuminating the darkness as if to reveal a path. There, Mr. Harrington directed her, voice urging her forward. Keep going. As she approached the light, she felt an otherworldly tug at her heart. A final whisper from the apparition that felt like a distant echo. You are never alone. But Lily plunged into the light, letting the warmth wash over her. The shadows recoiled, howling in rage, the cacophony fading as she sprinted past the threshold. But just as she felt a moment's relief under the sun's embrace, doubt flickered in her mind. Was she truly free, or just dancing under the watchful eye of another? What lay beyond this veil of safety? What truths were waiting for her to uncover? The moment Lily crossed into the light, everything shifted. The warmth clung to her skin like a comforting blanket, but it did little to erase the tension coiled in her gut. She found herself standing on the threshold of a clearing, sunlight pouring in like a golden relief from the overpowering darkness behind her. Mr. Harrington staggered beside her, panting heavily. We're not safe yet, he whispered, his eyes darting around as if the shadows were still lingering just outside of view. Where are we? She managed to ask, still catching her breath. He planted his feet, scanning the trees that surrounded the clearing. It looks like the old Diarty campsite, he trailed off, eyes narrowing. But the last time I was here it was abandoned. The forest shouldn't. A rustle interrupted him. Lily turned sharply, the sudden sound igniting panic. Was it the apparition? Had it followed them? Stay close, Mr. Harrington ordered, stepping toward the sound. Lily clutched her locket, aware of her pulse racing. Each heartbeat echoed like thunder in her ears. The air now felt thick, heavy with unspoken words and haunting histories. It was as if the trees themselves whispered warnings. Then, through the underbrush, a figure emerged. It was a man, gaunt and hollow-eyed, his clothes torn and dirty. Help me, he croaked, reaching out with a trembling hand. Stay back, Mr. Harrington cautioned, his voice low but firm. Lily's heart hammered in her chest, a mix of pity and fear surging within her. Please, what happened to you? She asked hesitantly. The shadows, they take you, he murmured, shuddering. They whisper they know what you want, what you fear. They find you. Lily felt a chill wash over her. How did he know what she feared? Was this man just another victim of the forest's cruel grip? Or something worse? Suddenly, the wind howled, pushing through the clearing with a fury that made the trees groan. The man fell to the ground, convulsing like he was trapped in a nightmare. Don't listen. Don't let it in. Yes, losing it, Mr. Harrington yelled, pulling Lily back. But there was something in the man's eyes, a deep and harrowing revelation flaring for just a moment before it dimmed again. You have to go. Don't let them. His voice was swallowed by the wind. Run, Mr. Harrington shouted, grasping Lily's arm and pulling her away from the man who was now writhing in the dirt. Panic surged within her, and Lily's feet moved on their own. The forest around them twisted. Each step they took turned the comforting warmth of the sun into a dim glow, shadows stretching out like claws grasping at their shadows. Wait, she cried, feeling a pull behind her. She hesitated, glancing back to where the man had fallen. Did they really have to leave him just like the others? What if he knows something? No, Mr. Harrington insisted fiercely, dragging her along. There's nothing we can do. The forest wants to keep you, it knows you. Remember that. But as they ran, a beat of uncertainty lingered. The man's last words echoed in her mind. What does it want from me? She asked aloud. In response, the whispers of the forest grew sharper, vibrant with derision. Stay, Lily. You're one of us. She shivered and shook her head, banishing the voices, but the feeling of impending doom stared at her from the depths of the trees. Just as they broke through the edge of the clearing and pushed deeper into the thrumming heart of the woods, The shadows pulsed again, forming shapes that made her heart clench. What was she running toward? Was it safety or a deeper darkness? Ahead, a massive oak tree loomed, ancient and gnarled, its bark dark as night. An eerie glow pulsed beneath it, and the air grew colder. "What is it?" she whispered, eyes widening. Mr. Harrington hesitated, dread washing over his features. "I don't know, but we have to find out." With resolve mixed with trepidation, they stepped closer to the tree. What secrets lurked in its shadows? What awaited them beneath its whispering branches? As Lily reached out, the glimmering light flickered, drawing her in like a moth to a flame. Lily's fingers brushed the surface of the gnarled bark, and a sudden jolt of energy surged through her. The light beneath the oak pulsed, thrumming like a heartbeat, and in that moment, it felt alive. A breath caught in her throat as if the tree itself was inhaling her fear. "Don't!" Mr. Harrington's voice sliced through the moment, but it was too late. The warm glow enveloped her hand, and she couldn't pull away. It was magnetic, a siren-esque call beckoning her deeper into its mystery. "Lily," he pleaded, panic lacing his voice. "Get away from it." But all thoughts of retreat vanished as shadows writhed around them, reacting to the glow as if it were blood in the water. The air grew weighty, crawling with darkness that seemed to hunger for her light. Forced by an unseen power, Lily looked closer. Through the shimmering veil, faces appeared horrified, twisted masks of the lost. They screamed silently for help, their mouths moving in frantic desperation. Among them, she recognized the hollow-eyed man, eyes wide with terror, the same plea etched deep into his likeness. "What is this?" she gasped, fright tearing at her insides. "It's a trap," Mr. Harrington shouted, reaching for her. "Come back." A swift gust of wind shattered the moment, tearing her from the call of the light. With that gust came the sound of 1,000 whispers, sinister and intoxicating, wrapping around her like a noose. "Join us. Lily, you belong here." No. The word escaped her lips, raw and desperate. She yanked her hand back, stumbling away, but the shadows slithered closer, eager to claim her. Mr. Harrington lunged forward, grabbing her waist and pulling her off balance. They fell together, crashing against the ground, hearts racing as the darkness howled, enraged by their retreat. The pulse of the oak dimmed, the air returning to a suffocating silence that wrapped around them like a shroud. "Are you okay?" he gasped, his eyes wide. "We need to get out of here now." Lily nodded, still shaken, a wave of adrenaline coursing through her. What was that? Those faces, they looked real. "The forest feeds on fear," he said breathlessly, glancing over his shoulder. "It uses it to draw you in, plays with your mind." They scrambled to their feet, and a low growl rumbled from somewhere deep within the woods. A heavy shadow lingered at the edge of their vision, teasing the corners of reality, distorting shapes and flickering at the periphery like flames ready to ignite. "We can't lose focus," Mr. Harrington said, urging her forward. "Stay close." They dashed through the underbrush, the gnarled roots snaring at their feet, branches snapping underfoot. Lily's heart pounded a frantic rhythm as if it were a war drum. But something inside her wondered, what if the shadows showed her the truth? "Just tell me what it wants from us," she shouted, even as they fled, a sense of desperation rising between them like the dark itself. "I don't know," he yelled back, "but if that glow meant anything, it wanted to trap us. We have to find a way out of these woods." As they ran, the whispers followed, teasing at the edges of sanity. "Stay, Lily, stay with us. You've always been one of us." Each step felt heavier, the branches closing in, limbs like skeletal hands reaching for them. A flicker of darkness flashed before her eyes, a vision of seeing her friends, their faces twisted in fear, caught below the oak's light. "No!" she screamed, shaking her head violently. And then ahead, a clearing opened up, bathed in a sickly, fading light. They emerged, breathless, but the shadows didn't recede. No comfort was offered. Instead, a chorus of soft laughter echoed around them, taunting, sinister. "Why won't they leave us alone?" Lily gasped, Mr. Harrington's face twisted in agony, just as another branch snapped, and something moved just beyond the clearing, something enormous. "Run!" he shouted again. But the clearing stretched on endlessly, like a cruel illusion folded on itself. Lily glanced back at the dark maw of the woods, a creeping dread flooding her heart. Are we running toward the end, or just deeper into the darkness? The shadows advanced, growing bolder, the laughter echoing like a cruel wind. "Follow me," Mr. Harrington shouted, pulling her toward the fading light. But as they sprinted, the whispering grew louder, more insistent. "Stay with us." Lily, what secrets would she uncover as the night twisted around them? And was escape merely a mirage that would dissolve in the dark? Lily's steps faltered, but Mr. Harrington, desperate, urged her on. Behind them, the laughter crescendoed, merging with the dark as reality began to warp. The shrill laughter twisted through the trees, a discordant melody that clawed at their sanity. Lily felt the ground tremble beneath her, a sinister rhythm that felt alive, synchronized with the thumping of her heart. Sweat clung to her skin, her breath short and sharp. "Keep moving." Mr. Harrington's voice cut through the panic, a lifeline in the chaos. His grip was strong, but fleeting shadows coiled at their heels, slinking ever closer, as if the very trees bore witness to their fear. "What if we can't escape?" she gasped, a shudder coursing through her. The thought clawed at her mind, sharp as the branches that scratched her arms. They burst forth from the clearing and into an expanse of dim light, but the darkness lingered at its edges, a silent predator. "Just focus on what's ahead," he urged, striding forward. The laughter dimmed but morphed into voices, echoing tales of despair that seeped into Lily's soul. They spoke of events long past, lost explorers, vanished campers, games played with the innocent. In her mind, she saw their petrified faces again, begging for salvation. The hollow-eyed man flickered in her consciousness, making her skin crawl. There was a truth hidden in the shadows, and it was a truth she wasn't ready to face. But without warning, the space before them closed, constricting like a noose. The air grew dense, each breath a struggling task, and she stumbled, her foot catching on a protruding root. "Lily!" Mr. Harrington yanked her arm, just as she caught the sight of something glistening in the ghostly light. A small, weathered sign poked from the ground, the letters barely legible. "Do not enter, do not look back." Cold dread washed over her. What did we just step into? She wanted to scream, but the sound locked inside her throat, stifled by fear. Felt like a warning, and they had ignored it. The shadows twisted, drawing nearer, their laughter rising again, echoing with an unnatural intensity. "Join us, stay forever, run," he yelled, his eyes frantic. They were trapped in a web of terror, and the reality of their predicament hit hard. Each second felt like an eternity as the darkness danced at the edges of vision, hungry and malevolent. They dashed toward a path barely visible through the chaotic undergrowth, the sinister whispers trailing them, promise and threat interwoven. "You'll feel at home here." Lily, what would it feel like to surrender? The question snagged in her mind like fishing line. Moments flashed her childhood, laughter with friends, carefree joy, memories she could lose forever if she didn't keep fighting. Suddenly, Lily spotted a flicker of light, hopeful yet treacherous, illuminating a long-forgotten cottage, its wood rotted but strangely inviting. "Over there." She pointed, an irrational hope surging within her. But Mr. Harrington's face fell. "No, we can't stop. We have to check." Panic fueled her as she sprinted toward the cottage, compelled by an unseen force. The door, slightly ajar, beckoned with the glow of cracked windows. Shadows writhed behind her, dark tendrils seeking to pull her back into their maw. "Lily, stop." He struggled to reach her, but she was already pushing through the entrance, heart racing. Inside, the air was heavy with dust and secrets, the walls lined with portraits that watched her, the eyes glinting with desperation. She needed answers. The whispers outside crescendoed into a cacophony. "Stay with us." The shadows rushed to fill the doorway, swallowing the last shreds of light. Lily felt herself drawn to a painting of the hollow-eyed man. His expression a chilling echo of the suffering outside. "What do you want?" she screamed, pressing back against the wall, heart pounding like a war drum. And then, with dawning horror, she understood. The cottage wasn't a sanctuary but a prison. Each beat of her heart resonated with the darkness that surrounded her. "Lily!" Mr. Harrington's voice tore her from the suffocating panic. Bracing herself, she turned back towards the door, but it was gone, replaced by a heavy curtain of shadow, blocking any chance of escape. There was no exit now. They were truly trapped. "Lily, we have to fight together." Together? Could they withstand the darkness? The whispering creatures outside grew restless, and Lily felt the heavy weight of hopelessness settle in. What words could break the spell? And what would happen when the shadows finally breached their fragile sanctuary? She felt Mr. Harrington's presence behind her, grounding yet trembling with uncertainty. The walls around them began to close in, the shadows thickening. "Will you stay, Lily?" a voice hissed, slithering through the air. "Will you give in?" But they were fighting every instinct, every whisper bound by fear and darkness. Could they reclaim their freedom, or would they soon join the echoes of the lost? The truth loomed, and in the shadows, something watching, something waiting, knew it would soon have its answer. Lily's heart thundered as the shadows pressed close, their whispers weaving a dark tapestry of despair. She could feel the weight of their hunger, a collective yearning for her to succumb. Behind her, Mr. Harrington gripped her arm, steady yet visibly shaken. Together, they stood at the precipice of darkness, surrounded by the spectral remnants of the forest. "This isn't the end," he urged, his voice fierce despite the tremor underlying it. "We can't let them take us. Fight!" The walls of the cottage felt alive, pulsating with sinister energy, the memories of lost souls pressing against her. But within her, a flicker of defiance ignited. She wouldn't be just another whisper lost among the trees. "No," she yelled, feeling the air crackle with resolve. "I'm not theirs to take." Echoes of her childhood laughter danced through her mind, a reminder of the light that still flickered somewhere beneath the chaos. With renewed determination, she wrenched herself from Mr. Harrington's grip, stepping forward into the swirling mass of shadows, a challenge issuing from her throat. The darkness recoiled as if struck. "Join us, Lily." The voices coiled around her, tempting, seductive. "You'll never be alone, no," she screamed, the word choking off the lure. Each syllable cut through the whispers like a dagger, carving space for hope. "I am separate from you. My choices are my own." A surge of light flickered within the dilapidated cottage, breaking the oppressive gloom. The shadows pulsed, thrashing against the glow, their grip weakening. For every word she shouted against the darkness, the light grew stronger, illuminating the haunted faces trapped within the woodwork. She could see them clearer now, the joy and pain tangled together, stories longing to be told and freed. "Lily!" Mr. Harrington shouted, his gaze fierce, fire reigniting in his eyes. "Focus. We have to push them back." With one last glance at the terrified faces within the walls, Lily nodded. She remembered the love she carried, her family, her friends, all the laughter intertwined with familiar warmth. Those memories were the beacon of strength she needed. "Let us go," she directed, seeking out the way they'd come, fueled by desperation and the flickering light growing brighter. The shadows writhed, pulling one last desperate attempt to reclaim their prey, but Lily moved swiftly, determination saturating her every action. Mr. Harrington joined her, their bodies pushing through the chaotic mass of darkness that swelled around them. As they reached the doorframe, branches lashed out, the sharpness of their claws reaching for her, but the glow enveloping her held firm, a shield against the dark. Then, as they burst into the open air, the light exploded outward like a shockwave. The whispers wailed in unison, retreating into the depths of the trees, their sound fading as the glimmer of dawn broke the horizon. "We did it," Lily gasped, panting in disbelief, knowing they had escaped, but the shadows would not be quelled forever. They lingered at the forest's edge, a dark mass watching, waiting. Not yet, Mr. Harrington cautioned, surveying the lingering darkness. We may have escaped this moment, but we need a plan to confront the truth. Lily nodded, still trembling, feeling the weight of the forest's pulsing energy behind her. What if we can't face it? What if the truth is too painful? Painful truth can heal, he replied firmly. But we must choose to face the darkness on our own terms. We need allies. Those lost souls? She asked, fear rising to choke her again. Yes, he nodded. But there must be something powerful at the center of this forest, something corrupting the memories. We can't just run away. We have to go back, confront it, and set them free. Lily swallowed hard, weighing the truth. What if the forest demanded more than they were willing to give? But the image of those anguished faces clung to her heart, and she knew they couldn't leave them behind. Together, she breathed, determination rekindling the fire within. Together, Mr. Harrington agreed, reaching for her hand. They turned to face the dark woods, whispering tales of both horror and promise. With each step forward, the air shifted, crackling with electric potential. Lily's chest tightened. They returned to confront the shadows. She could feel the resonance of the laughter behind her, uttering their dark truths. The lingering weight of memories coiled within her, aching to be released. The cottage receded as they ventured deeper, light flooding into the hollow spaces as they pushed through the undergrowth. The ground trembled beneath them, yearning for the forgotten tales to be told. And just as they reached the heart of the forest, the trees parted to reveal a twisting, gnarled tree that stood at the center of a clearing, a place where the sunlight battled fiercely against the dark. From its roots, something shrieked, a deep wail of sorrow that rattled the leaves above. Here Mr. Harrington breathed, both in awe and dread. This is it. Gripping each other's hands tight, they stepped into the clearing. It felt as though all the breaths of the forest drew in as one, waiting, watching. We are here to set you free, Lily shouted, her voice strong and unwavering. The shadows around them lurched, a chaotic writhing mass swirling against their resolve. But now, with purpose, they faced the darkness together, ready to bring light to the haunted whispers of Blackwood Forest. Let us in, she demanded, accepting the challenge, knowing that together, they could pierce through the veil of shadows, break the cycle of fear, and uncover the truth buried deep amidst the haunting tales. And the truths would be revealed, no more whispers, only clarity, as the dawn broke against the shroud of night, heralding the inevitable clash between light and the lasting grip of darkness. The choice was theirs, to illuminate or to be consumed. With hearts entwined and fear transformed into a fierce glow, they lunged forward, prepared to unearth the stories of the past and, perhaps, reclaim hope for the future. The forest trembled, ready to reveal its deepest secrets, and they would uncover every last one until the darkness lost its power forever. Together, they would dissolve the silence and breathe life back into the haunted woods. Together, they would emerge from the darkness, no longer whispers, but a shout that could echo through eternity. Don't just watch. Act now. You need to subscribe immediately so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm and show your support. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about this gripping ending. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Your support means everything,